A picnic in Gaza. One picnic that I don't think I will ever forget was a picnic that I was invited to around 30 years ago. At the time, I was doing a study course with the Church of Scotland. It was suggested that we should visit Israel and Palestine. It would be helpful with my studies. A trip was organised and our partners could come with us if they wished. My husband John was happy to come along. I said it will just be like a holiday. How little did I know what we were going to experience. I could hardly wait to see the itinerary. I was so excited. It had always been a desire of mine to visit Palestine and Israel. First week we were staying at the Sea of Galilee Centre. Second week, St Andrew's Church in Jerusalem. I was going to visit so many of these wonderful places that I had only ever read about. I was like a child on Christmas morning, so excited. I was not disappointed. We met with Christians, Jews and Muslims who welcomed us to their country. We visited many holy sites that most tourists would visit, but because of the nature of our visit, we were allowed access to places where tourists didn't go. We visited the kibbutz, refugee camp, a university in the West Bank, school, hospital, and people's homes. We attended a meeting at the Palestinian Rapprochement Centre in Bet Sahur in the West Bank, and also other meetings with various groups, religious and political. Did I really say to John it will be just like a holiday? We would be needing a holiday by the time we got home. My son Aaron was needing to hear all about what we were doing while we were away. He himself loved travelling. I read out our itinerary to him and said, "Isn't it lovely that we have been invited to a picnic on our last day?" Gaza? Gaza? Aaron was incredulous at what I had just said. "Mother, people don't go to Gaza for a picnic." "Well, I am, and Dad's coming with me. We will have lots to tell you once we get back." He looked at me and shook his head in utter disbelief. We left Jerusalem to travel to Gaza in a modern, comfortable, air-conditioned coach. We were all so excited. You heard the excited chatter throughout the bus. Our leader that day was from the World Council of Churches. He explained to us that we would only be travelling so far in this bus. We would then have to change to another bus. This was for safety reasons. I have never seen such a ramshackle bus. The extreme opposite from what we had been travelling in previously. But the registration plate was what would help to keep us safe. We arrived at the checkpoint. Soldiers in lookout towers, soldiers on the ground, rifles pointing at us. Stop at the gate. Bus checked for bombs. A search was the next procedure. Evidence to show who we were was scrutinised. Rifles always pointing towards us. No smiles. No signs of welcome. Shells littered the ground from spent bullets. We were very aware of the rifles pointing at us. It was extremely threatening. Once through security, we felt a tremendous relief. We continued our way to the home of the family we were visiting. It was not the most comfortable of journeys, nor was it the most picturesque scenery. My description of Gaza at that time would be to say it was hell on earth. We arrived at our host's house. The whole family were very hospitable. When I say whole family, this means extended family too, all under one roof. Their house was bursting at the seams, yet a number of rooms were boarded up and they were not allowed to use them. We sat on a wall outside in their backyard for our picnic. They served us a very sweet syrupy type of tea Lovely bread with hummus and some sweet biscuits. There must have been around 20 of us visiting. I must say I hated the tea, but when I was told the following day, I felt guilty about my thoughts. I am so glad I drank it, as I was sorely tempted to get rid of it in a plant pot. At that time, the Palestinians in Gaza were only being allowed water for an hour a day. They never knew what hour. This family had invited all of us, knowing that they were sacrificing a large part of their daily allowance. Such generosity. I should have been more grateful. I felt so ashamed of myself. As time wore on and conversation started to flow, it became easier to ask questions. One of the first questions asked was, "Why have you boarded up rooms in your house when you really need to use them?" The reason given was that it was a punishment. We did not ask for what. They were told there would be raids during the night by Israeli soldiers to check if a room had been opened. If they had, the eldest son would be taken outside and shot, an example to others to do as they were told. There were other punishments for those who had no sons. We did not ask what they were. While inside our host's home, I commented on photographs of 4 handsome young men. I said to her, "Are they your sons? They are very handsome." She looked at me, tears in her eyes, and said, "Now, only one." One mother looked at another. Tears filled my eyes too. No words would come. I gently touched her hand. A beautiful little girl aged around 5 to 6 years sang us a song. She had the voice of an angel. When she finished and we applauded her, her little eye twinkled happily. The other eye had been taken by a bullet. It was by no means a miserable picnic. There was laughter at times. The children helped with that. Children are children, all the world over. But the children here have had their childhood stolen from them. It was a very different picnic, yet one I feel very honoured and privileged to have been invited to. Someone asked, what can we do to help your situation? The answer was very simple. When you return to your country, tell your people about us and what you have seen. I have done that. Travelling back to Jerusalem, the bus was very quiet. The sound of crying at times was the only thing that broke the silence.